So now we have a session which is focusing on the financial services industry. For those of you who don't know, I used to work on Wall Street. In fact, I spent 7 years focusing on analytics, on fixed income securities and real-time trading systems. And I'm someone who will tell you that getting fired can save your life, because in 1993 I got fired from working in the World Trade Center at a company called Cantor Fitzgerald Securities. And I'm sorry, 95. I started 93. In 96, I got fired, and in 2001, of course, 9/11 happened. And when that happened, I lost like 700 people at the company. 400 I knew. But my passion for financial services industry never went away, and I've been very focused on real-time information. And the world of social media sort of is a conflict of financial services because of being in a highly regulated industry. It's very hard to share information. It's very hard for people who want to connect to customers, connect to them, due to trying to play by the rules. And now we all have so many regulations to deal with. But Joanna, who's about to come out and bring out the panel, was courageous enough to find some friends from Wall Street who can talk, who at least can share with us some of their experiences doing social media and communicating through the social platforms while working at some pretty fantastic institutions. Joanna, please come out and bring out your panel. Come on. Thank you for doing this.
Oh, thank you.
Give it up. Come on.
Hello.
Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome. And now for something completely different. Welcome to How I Did It. Financial services, social media champions tell their stories. My name is Joanna Belby, and my firm is the BGK Group, and we provide training to the securities industry. So this morning is a great convergence of my personal passion for social media, which I use relentlessly, with my business avocation of helping people learn new things. As a highly regulated industry, the financial services industry has been slow to adopt social media for all the reasons that people talk about. It's too risky. What about our reputation? There's no ROI. And the most scary for financial services will be out of compliance, which can be a real deal breaker in this business. However, in the last couple of weeks, we've seen announcements from major firms who are allowing their advisors to use social media to reach their clients. So we think there's a sea of change that's coming to this industry. Now this morning, you're going to hear from 3 pioneers in financial services who were able to tap their passion and make it happen within their organizations. And we're hoping, all of us are hoping, that if there's anyone in the audience who works at a traditional firm or some firm that hasn't adopted social media and you're passionate about it, you can learn from them and decide that you're going to do it because the time is right. So John, would you like to talk a little bit about your experiences?
Thank you very much. My name is John Steber from Deutsche Bank, and the good news is that more and more companies are convinced, including banks, that social media is relevant to how they work, both internally and with their customers. And the other good news is we really don't know what we're doing. And I think that's an opportunity for everybody in the audience. The lesson I learned, though, is that I wasted time cheerleading and evangelizing. I could talk about sharing and connecting and about the revolution in Tunisia, but I couldn't really relate social media to problems at work. And it was only when we focused on real problems at work that we got any traction. So an example was building communities of practice. People wanted to get better at specific roles within the company, and it's been a long-standing problem to work across silos. By creating communities of practice, linking people in similar jobs, improving those jobs in measurable ways, that got people's attention. It also made it better for people in those jobs. They had a platform to contribute. Then the businesses themselves, every business at DB has an idea about how to use social media. They don't even know where to start. They don't know how to deal with data privacy, data security, compliance, legal, HR, workers' council in Germany. So we created a social media council to link all of these practitioners or aspiring practitioners together, a clearinghouse, if you will, to make it easier for them, A, to know what everybody else is doing within the firm, and B, to shape the essential services that can help them focus on business and not on navigating control functions. By solving those two problems, that earned us the right, that earned us the trust to do more, to get an enterprise platform, to really go across the bank and change how we work. Thank you.
Lori?
Thank you. Thanks, John. Good morning, everyone. I'm Lori Feldman. I'm with Citi's Global Transaction Services business. And I have a different perspective than John, my esteemed colleague, in that we found that evangelizing and promoting the features and benefits of social media really did enable us to become the pioneers that we were. So going back to something that was said in our introduction about communicating with clients, for us it's all about providing critical information to our clients all over the world, leveraging the thought leaders that are part of our team and using that content, which we feel is truly the currency of our organization, to give the information that they're looking for to conduct their business and be successful. And that's how we've been marketing all along. So that's nothing new. What became new were the channels of communication that became open to us. A whole new toolkit of channels beyond the traditional print collateral and even websites. So an example of our story, a couple of years ago, we had an idea that we could capitalize on our thought leadership teams around the world in 100+ countries and develop a broadcast channel that would sit directly in the online banking transaction platform. We called it the media channel. The platform is called CitiDirect BE. And the CitiDirect BE media channel became our own sort of TV station, if you will, that featured videos, text articles, and other media from our thought leaders on the topics of the day. We upload content on a daily basis. We distributed webcams around the world so we could have our desktop banker correspondents. We traveled to all of our events and conferences, leveraging those venues as potential content gathering opportunities. And so we started that in January of 2009, and by September 2009, we were on the air. And today, we have nearly 200 of our bankers and experts around the world who provide regular reporting. What's more, the CitiDirect BE media channel became the catalyst and inspiration for us to forge into other areas of social media. So in October of last year, we decided that we were going to leverage Twitter. The folks in Citi Corporate, they've been fantastic in being pioneers, so we were able to kind of ride their coattails and all the processes that we needed to go through to get that done. We started a Twitter campaign tied into one of our largest conferences, which is the Sibos conference every year for large financial institutions. We started with myself and my colleague as a follower. We started with a tweet, and by the time that conference was over and the promotion period was over in 3 weeks, we had sent out 80+ tweets. We had 100+ followers. Now that may not seem to be of Justin Bieber, Ashton Kutcher proportions, I understand, but when you're a financial services company, 100 really good followers is terrific. Today, Twitter is a channel that's really become a BAU marketing channel. And we use it for conferences, events, webinars, publications of new articles. We're up to nearly 470 followers. We've tweeted nearly 500 tweets since then. And between our digital communications, our commitment to video in media channel, and others throughout the organization, our use of Twitter, we are now poised to take on all the other channels that are now also going to become part of our marketing toolkit.
Thank you, Lori.
Great.
And Joyce?
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Joyce Sullivan. I'm on the board of the Financial Women's Association. So I want to say good morning to New York, say good afternoon to my friends in Europe, and good evening to the folks who are watching in Asia. So thank you all for joining us live stream. As my colleagues here, I'm in the financial services industry, but my story is a little different. After about more than 20 years on Wall Street, I lost my job. 2 years ago, you know, when the financial services firms kind of imploded. So at the time, I thought, well, you know, I'd always kept up my social network, and I was very comfortable connecting online. So I found I had skills that I was able, you know, quickly to network and to connect. But what I found was many of my colleagues, especially in the senior executive positions, had no idea about social media. So I wound up actually helping people as I met in the, they call it executive outplacement, you know, where they send you when, you know, you're out of the office. But I found that I was able to use the skills I had to help people who never in their wildest dreams thought they'd be out of work, how they could connect and really look for opportunities that they never imagined were available to them. So from there, I've been a member of the Financial Women's Association for a very long time and been very busy with my, you know, my day job. So I wanted to really give back and do something for them, and I looked to the organization, which was founded in 1956 by 8 women on Wall Street who were trying to get into a certain men's club, luncheon club, and they couldn't, so they said, well, let's start our own. And so, you know, more than 50 years later, we're more than 1,000 members worldwide, women and men. And about 2 years ago, I really wanted to take a look at what they had, and they really were not in the social space. Part of being very passionate about what they do, which is financial literacy, there's things, scholarships, mentoring, you know, high school students and all who are interested in the financial service industry. I created a co-founder with another member, the Digital Media Committee, and again, one of the things I found was important, and I've learned, especially in any of my day jobs, is that when you're looking to make a change, especially for an established organization, whether it's a traditional financial services firm, which, you know, is highly regulated, which, as Joanna mentioned, is starting to change, I think, in a good way, that you really need to look at who the leadership is, and really at the top of the house, help them understand this tool. I think what happens is, and I used to see as I started to talk to folks, is that they thought, one, well, that's what the kids do. And not realizing the opportunity to connect and find people was extraordinary, which I found, you know, on Twitter and LinkedIn and Facebook. So anyway, kind of fast forward in the last 2 years, put a committee together. We now have a Twitter account, we have Facebook, LinkedIn, and we're growing our membership through that. And unlike back in 1956, there weren't a lot of other networking firms, you know, sort of for this kind of thing. There now are. So I do have a day job in the financial services industry, which is not quite ready to do what Lori and John are, but everybody knows it is a sea change and it's coming, and I think in your organizations, if it is regulated or people aren't sure, you know, start at the top of the house, help them understand it, because you can make it happen if you're really passionate about it.
I think that's our whole message today. We have time for one question, and my question is this. We've been reading with great interest about some of the announcements from the large firms who are allowing their advisors to use social media. So we know that you're in a different space within your organization, more in the business-to-business space. However, I'm curious whether that has impacted your day-to-day responsibilities, and what type of response are you getting now in your organization? And then what do you think the future holds for the next 6 months?
Okay, sure, I could tell you maybe 10 days ago there was an announcement from Morgan Stanley. They had worked with a vendor to allow their brokers, they have 16,000 brokers who help people manage their money, to allow 600 of them to use LinkedIn specifically to both establish your profile, get messages out, and connect to people. That day, because we had a social media council, because we had a clearinghouse, people in compliance, legal, regional governance, as well as the business contacted me and said, why the hell are they able to do that? And what can we do? Can you educate us, to your point? And we walked through that just yesterday with both everything from the platform to FINRA rules to the business motivation, and now we have our own plan. So those help. You talked about a sea change multiple times, how things are different than 12 months ago. Those all help to spur people on to do something as opposed to wait.
Great. And Lori?
And And I would say that what I've seen in the last 6 to 8 months is this, not an epiphany, but definitely a light bulb over the collective communication and marketing team heads regarding how impactful the world of social and digital media marketing is. And for several reasons, that helps things that are sitting right in front of us that are challenges. One is being mindful of expenses. 2, time to market. We live in a 24/7 news society, so coming up with information for a brochure and getting it out 6 weeks later isn't exactly fitting the bill. And the third thing is a commitment to sustainability. You know, Citi, like most organizations, is very focused right now on enhancing its sustainability efforts, and what could be you know, more green than not printing 20,000 brochures and getting 5 thought leadership expert videos out and promoted via Twitter. So I think it fits in with an organization's core values today and even more so going forward.
And Joyce?
Yes, and for me, certainly, I would think for all of you, if you are in any industry, whether it's your day job or there's an organization you're passionate about, as you learn those tools and you find a way to get your message out and get people advanced, I think, again, I think in the financial services area, as those industries begin to take it on, and I think that announcement that John talked about really created quite a buzz in the industry, so I think you're going to start to see a big change. But I would ask all of you, as you look at your day life and your jobs, that you do something that you know you're passionate about, and to help to advance that, so you're all educators, and you can make it happen.
Okay. So I hope we inspired at least one person to go make it happen within their organization. And if you do, we want to hear back. All our contact information is above.
Yes, please connect with us on Twitter. Thank you.
And thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.